Eat that meat, Jennifer.
Why doesn't that feather look pleasant?
Fasten your taste buds,
For gastronomic ride,
cause us two fat ladies are itching up
to get into your kitchen. Yeah!
Oh, yes. I'm rather pleased to be in Wales.
I'm very pleased to be by the sea. I can stay here all day.
I'm afraid that's not an option, dear. We've got a picnic to make for a male voice choir.
Wow, all those lovely men of Harlech.
They're staying in Llandudno. Come on.
Where is this kitchen?
In a bed and breakfast just outside the town. It used to be a lighthouse. Some of the choir are staying there.
A lighthouse. How exotic. We ought to be cooking beef dough.
It's a little erudite for us, don't you think? Very sweet, but it doesn't look much like a lighthouse.
It's more like a domestic castle.
Ah,
Rather chic. There we are.
well done.
I thought I heard you arriving.
Hello.
Welcome to Llandudno. Nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
Hello.
Thank you for coming.
Not at all.
The picnic ladies.
It's a very exciting place.
Well, yes.
What a place. What a view.
We're very, very fortunate. It's very
Amazing.
nice.
Amazing.
Perfect day for a picnic, too.
Well, thank you very much for agreeing to come up about the picnic. It's wonderful news.
I hope
that-
it'll all be a
yeah.
great success.
Is that the choir we can hear singing in there?
Not quite a choir, just a couple of chaps that arrived a bit early.
Having a little practice.
Well, you could have a sing-along, Jennifer.
I think they're probably a bit grand for me, and I'm not very good at Welsh. I say, look at this.
Welcome to the lighthouse.
It's magnificent. Wonderful galleries.
But it's not a lighthouse anymore, is it?
No, it was decommissioned in 1985.
And you bought it?
That's right, for the Mersey Docks and Harbour Board.
Where on earth was the light?
It was just down here. Would you like to see it?
Yes.
Come through. Now, what do you
My
think?
goodness!
How incredible.
What a view!
What do you think of this one?
Incredible! Incredible!
I'm sorry you can't see the Isle of Man today. Well, not quite, anyway.
Is this where we're having the picnic?
Well, we thought this was a little bit small, so we thought we'd go to a nice little spot in the Great Orme, where we've got lovely views of Conway Castle. Oh, it's a lovely spot.
Picnics.
Picnics!
Oh, not to work already.
We've been organised.
Come to the kitchen, I'll show you.
It's always a good idea to have a pie to take on a picnic, or at least I think so. And as we're in Wales, I thought it would be suitable to do a Welsh lamb pie. This is made with young Spring Hill lamb. And this particular cut is the best end of neck. You need to keep the bones for this, which means you can't go to a supermarket. But if you don't want to cut it yourself, then ask your butcher to do it for you. And in this saucepan, I've got the bones that I've cut the meat from, some chopped onion, bay leaf, peppercorns, salt, and I'm just going to add some water. And leave that for stock. People always discard the idea of lamb stock, but in fact, if it's properly skimmed and made with nice young lamb, it can be very good indeed. Cut the lamb up into quite small pieces because I'm not going to cook it before it goes in the pie, and it's necessary, therefore, to have it small so that it'll cook quickly. And here I've got my pie dish, which I just lined quite simply with short crust pastry and then chilled it in the fridge for about 30 minutes. And I'm going to put the lamb into that, spread it about evenly. And I'm going to add to it carrots. I'm not terribly fond of carrots personally, but it's one of the, perhaps misfortunes is too strong a word, of my life to fall in with men who like carrots. So over the years, I've come to make this pie a lot. And salt. And pepper. And parsley, lots of parsley. Wales is a good place for parsley. It grows well in Wales. They say that parsley only grows in a place where where the woman wears the trousers. I wonder what that says about Wales.
I wonder.
And now I've got to put a lid on that. So I've got my pastry here. This is just ordinary short crust pastry. I like picnics. Do you like picnics?
I like rather grand picnics.
And you would, yeah.
What is it? More, you know, rather than sitting on the stinging nettle eating a wasp.
My mother was Australian, so she sort of thought you had to have a fire. A picnic wasn't a picnic without a fire, you know, and you'd cook things on the fire.
A barbecue?
No, it was just cooking things.
Ah.
Or heating them up on a fire. She didn't think it was a picnic without a billy can tea. I once saw Catherine the Great's picnic hamper.
Oh, it must have been magnificent.
Oh, it was wonderful, all gold plate.
Oh,
and
amazing.
to be carried by 8 footmen.
Born by wonderful Cossacks, I shouldn't wonder that she ate after lunch.
Yes, but
Yeah.
not quite in the same sense of the word. So I've just rolled out my lid and put it over the top, as you saw, and I'm just going around the edges of it with a fork. And cut round the edge. There we are, all the way around. And I'm just going to glaze it with a little beaten egg. So it's a nice colour when it's...
For prettiness sake.
For prettiness sake, yes. I suppose it helps seal the edges a bit.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to cut a little cross in the top. Lift up the corners, sort of build them up slightly. Because when I've made my stock, and when I've cooked this pie, in fact, I'm then going to pour the stock into it and let it chill, and it'll make a nice sort of set gravy for the pie. So make sure you leave your hole large enough so you can pour stock in through it. There we are. To the ovens.
Great. Well, I'm going to make one of my sort of meal-sized sandwiches again. And it's Be Kind to Vegetarians Week this week, as long as they can eat an anchovy. Some of them can't, I know. But this is another thing you can take on a picnic and then cut it up when you're there. And it comes from Provence, really. I think that's where it started, because all the stuff you put in it is from there. But it's called a tartine, and you see people holding really big ones, munching along. What you do is you get a nice little baguette. That's about the right size I like. Then you get a nice lump of garlic, and you rub it in so that you get lots of taste. If you like, and I do, you can just crush the whole garlic and spread it on. But I'm just doing this amount in case it's for people who are a bit more squeamish.
I had a boyfriend once who, when he'd been eating garlic, used to greet me at the door with a clove of garlic for me to bite. I used to think it was awfully romantic.
I think he thought you were a werewolf.
Maybe that's what it was.
Now then, in here, I've got a roasted red pepper. You just put it in the oven on the grid, and you roast it for about quite a high heat for about 10 minutes. And then you put it in a plastic bag, whereupon it will go all soggy like that, and is very easy to peel. Actually, I absolutely love them. Neat like this, just put it on a plate covered in olive oil and lemon oil and salt and pepper. Absolutely delicious starter. Now, what we want to do is get rid of all these seeds. You don't want the seeds. They're not particularly good for you, and like the skin, they're indigestible. So just get rid of them. Doesn't matter if a few. Now, we roughly chop them up, because they've all got to be mashed in a moment. Now, put that into the mortar. Now, we want about 4 anchovies. Wouldn't you know? My favourite. Chop them up, just roughly, because we've got to pound them in a moment. You can really put anything you like into this, of things you think go together. We got some string beans here, a handful. Put them in. And the tomatoes. Some olives, which I've stoned, cut in half. Put them in. Give it a squeeze of lemon. About a teaspoon, I would think. Then we must give this a bit of a pounding. I love using the pestle and mortar. It reminds me of the Russian fairy tales where the Russian witch, the Baba Yaga, sails along in it, rowing.
I suppose it was the original cooking tool, wasn't it? You know, it was a little hollow in a rock and a manky old stone, and away you go.
Yes, something like that. I mean, even now, when you see these hidden tribes, or even not so hidden, they're always at it, aren't they? Grinding something on a stone, maybe with a flattened stone or another great stone.
And a Boy Scout.
And a Boy Scout for lunch. You could give it just a sharp whiz in the processor, but don't do it too much because it'll turn into soup. I prefer it in this because I like the chunks. And it's not very difficult after all. And we want some olive oil, about a tablespoon. That will make it all succulent. In the end, it'll all soak into the bread, gathering the juices of the other things. Have a little taste. I think you could have some pepper. And a bit of salt, but not too much because of the anchovies and the various things. Yeah, that's a lovely mess.
Very colourful.
Isn't that lovely?
Mess, isn't it?
That's at the ready now. And what I'm going to do is pile it. I mean, quite a lot on these nice little baguettes. You see this? It's just a lovely mess of vegetables, really, apart from the anchovies. Not very healthy, you must admit. Very unlike me.
Well, you have your moments. Whether it tastes nice that matters.
Actually, if it tastes nice, it's probably healthy. There, look. Look how luscious. You see, a good amount we want in there.
Shall I eat it now to see if it's all right?
No, it isn't finished.
Oh, it isn't. Silly me.
Slap the other half on. Now I'm going to take it over here with fear and trepidation, hoping not to drop it. There we are. Now I'm going to wrap it up in greaseproof paper. Nice little bolster parcel. Get a bit of string. Make a loop for the first one. Windy, windy. Give it a press. Now I've got this is a good heavy marble thing. And I've got this enchanting weight, a real old iron. Now you leave that there for about an hour to let all the juices go in, and then off you go to your picnic. Here comes Madam.
With my pie, look at that.
Oh, doesn't it look good? That does look a nice pie.
Lovely, nice and golden brown, everything one would like. And now I'm just going to get some lamb stock. You've got to let it cool so you can skim it a bit.
Get the fat off.
Get the fat off. Lamb stock's delicious, but you must skim it.
This is extraordinary, isn't it? And then you leave it cool.
Yes, you don't cook it again.
And you just leave it and all will be well.
Yes, it's the Welsh, you know, they're devilish cunning. Look at this. Isn't it charming?
Welcome to London.
Isn't that lovely?
Marvellous organ. Very good footwork.
Very good footwork. Yes, lovely footwork. That.
Uh-oh.
That's not what I'd call a holiday attraction.
Worth our weight in gold, dear. Better not to know.
Oh, I do like a pier.
I love a pier. This one is very well kept too.
I was at school at Brighton. I used to love going on the pier. I wonder if they have what the butler saw.
Oh, yes, they were wonderful. Yes, they were such forbidden things, because I was at Ramsgate.
I used to
Yeah,
go to pier too.
yeah.
Yes. I remember going and putting my penny in, I think it was a penny, and they said, into what the butler saw, and watching it, and I couldn't understand what all the fuss was about.
It was such a wonderful lady doing this, wasn't
That's
it?
right. Eating candy floss. And
Yeah, that was my favourite thing of all. Great big cotton wool things.
I know, but they loved it.
And I think because we're by the sea, I think we ought to have some fish and chips.
What a good idea.
Crispy on the outside and soft on the inside.
That's how they should
And
be.
no darn malt vinegar on them.
That-
I hate malt vinegar.
Great British tradition.
I know.
I like it when they cook them in dripping.
Dripping is wonderful. But
Far
if you
the
do
best.
it in the house, the smell is terrific.
Terrible, isn't it?
No, and it sticks.
Yeah, that's right.
That little fellow there.
Sweet.
Where did you come from? St. Francis? Probably thinks I'm St. Francis. You're very bold.
Very bold, yeah. Vicious looking beak. Don't let him peck you.
You wouldn't peck me, would you?
I love gold eggs.
So do I. And now they get more and more expensive because nobody will face the perils of the cliffs.
Don't you come near me. I don't want to feed you. I suppose we ought to get on with some work.
Whoops, the daisy.
There we go.
Feel like a beetle on my back. Now, I thought it would be nice to take for the picnic some thermoses full of really cold ice soup. And I'm going to make a vichyssoise. Everyone thinks it's French. Well, it's French in a way, but it was made in America originally, but by a French cook. And what we've got to do is slice the leeks. We only want the white part of the leeks because this is a very white soup. But don't waste the greens. If you wash them and chop them up nicely and fry them in butter and oil with old cold potatoes, they make a sort of form of bubble and squeak, and they're very good. Now, what we want to do is put a good lump of butter in, and we stir that around till it's melted. Isn't it lovely being in a lighthouse? I adore it. I'm a little Grace Darling at heart. I'm waiting to rescue the stranded ships coming over the bay.
I think I sort of have more the wrecker in my soul, really.
We can wreck as well.
Can we? Oh, good.
Yes, on holidays. Right, the butter's melted. I put in the leeks first. Now, I'm just stirring the leeks into the butter, and what I want them to do is just soften a bit, but not, I don't want them to go brown at all. We want everything white. Now we'll add in the potatoes. We want them to soften a bit also.
It's a most glorious view across the bay, isn't it?
It's absolutely splendid.
You could dive in for your afternoon swim.
Like a Samoan.
That's right.
400 feet down into the depths.
And I'd throw you silver pennies off the top.
I remember doing that coming back in the boat from China. It was somewhere like, not Portside, somewhere
Mandalay.
there. Then we on the road to Mandalay, where the flying fishes play, and the dawn comes up like thunder. Something
Out of China, across the bay. We
Lot of
could
rock.
say sort of across Colwyn Bay, wouldn't we?
Stirring times for stirring songs, for stirring soup. Now we've got those starting to get along. We're going to add some stock or water. Water's perfectly all right if you haven't got good stock. What you want is really a light chicken stock, not too strong. But if you haven't got it, use water, not cubes. They leave a nasty taste. Got about 2 pints here, suitable for this amount of leeks and potatoes. Sea salt. Now that's all mixed together, and I'm going to let it boil for about 40 minutes because I want everything to be very soft before I whiz it. So you can rest there. Let's see what Madam's up to. What are you doing? Something lovely?
Yes, I'm making a mitten of pork, named after that wonderful hunting squire, Squire Mitten. It's a bit like a rough patte in some ways, you know. It's going to come out so you can slice it. Stretch out your bacon with a knife and just very carefully line your bowl so there are no cracks or crevices. Very good Welsh bacon has a good reputation. Welsh butter's nice too.
It's a bit salty for me.
They like their salt. Now for the filling. The main ingredient is fillet of pork. It's very lean. Slice it very thinly for this dish. It's an old hunting dish. It's something you used to take on hunting picnics. And you start off with a layer of pork. And I'm going to intersperse this with sage and onion stuffing, which is breadcrumbs, red onions, sage, lovely fresh sage, and salt and pepper, and a bit of lemon juice, and a bit of lemon rind. And put on a layer and press it all down well.
This is good. This would be quite a hefty sort of thing to eat, wouldn't it?
It's surprisingly light when you cut it, actually. I'm always quite surprised. I think it's going to be much heftier than it is.
Would they eat it in the saddle?
No, I would have thought it was more when they stopped for a stand. And then the dead giveaway that it's an 18th century recipe is mace.
A beautiful piece. Looks like amber.
Mace is the outer husk of the nutmeg. It's subtler and slightly milder than nutmeg. And 200 years ago, it was the sun-dried tomato of the day. It was the latest new ingredient from the Spice Islands. And you crush it up and powder it up. And then you just put a pinch of it in. And then more pork. You just do it in layers, pork, stuffing. Again, keep pressing it down well. And you just keep building it up layer by layer until you get to the top of the basin. And now, because that's right up to the top, I'm just going to put a lid of bacon over it. And again, make sure that the bacon covers it completely, that there are no nooks and crannies, especially around the edges. You want to keep as much of the juices in as you can so that they don't come bubbling out.
And then do you weight it?
Yes, but not till after it's cooked. You cook it and then you put a weight on it and press it down. And all I have to do now is put it in a baking tray to catch the drips, if there are any, and put it in the oven to bake.
Now, I've cooled this down enough to start doing the whizzing, because I don't want to do anything terrible with this object.
Terrible things with the kitchen vibrator, Jennifer.
I don't want to spatter everything in boiling hot liquid. I want to make it into the thinnest possible puree. I mean, smooth, smooth, smooth. No lumps.
Do you
There,
like
that should do it.
Do you like those things instead of a moulie mix or a...
Well, they're terribly useful. I actually like a blender, but a blender will only take a certain amount. And it's wildly easy to wash up, of course. Now then, it's all nice and smooth, and what we've got to do is really chill it well, at least 6 hours, or overnight is even better. Actually, it's not a bad idea to chill the bowls you're going to serve it in, but I don't expect we'll have them in the picnic. Then you add some chilled cream, because you don't want the temperature to go up again. A nice amount of cream, and then taste for seasoning, and have a good grinding of black pepper. And then right at the end, snip chives all over the top. And it's very charming. It's white with these green specks. You can, of course, eat it hot, but I wouldn't. It's much nicer cold, I think.
I agree.
Yeah. You look a bit squashed under all those hampers. How far do we have to take this picnic?
Not far. Apparently, we're being transported up a mountain by a tram.
How quaint!
Right.
That's
you had
lovely.
a nice ride?
Yes,
Yeah.
very nice, thank
There
you.
we
Bit cramped in here with all these hampers there.
Well, they can be very heavy picnics, can't they?
That's
Perfect
right.
weather.
Well, the heavier the better, really.
There we go.
No, just me now. You can carry me too if you like.
No problem.
We've picked out all the good-looking men to come and help you. So
Just what
there
one
we are.
likes. Thank you very much. Brilliant.
This is
All the
charming.
rest will be up there waiting for us.
Ah.
There they are.
Isn't it lovely?
Only 3 in the world.
Well, I'd rather be here. Like climbing up there with a shield on my back.
Are you eating that one, Gwen? Are you?
Creme vichyssoise glacée, very refreshing on a hot summer's day.
A portable pie, perfect for a picnic.
What's in it, Gwen?
Tartine from Provence, delicious despite its vegetarian overtones.
I'm much success with that. No? John, you're not looking at the bottom.
Excellent, in or out of the saddle, but always with a hunting squire.
And they will stop in the middle of the road and stop you, not give way. And they stink to high heaven.
Wonder what they taste like.
I wonder.
Ah, Ian.
Ladies, diolch yn fawr iawn am y bwyd. That means
Absolutely.
that means thank you very much for the food.
Eh.
Would you like the lads to sing a few songs for you?
Oh, we'd love it, love it.
Great.
Okay, lads.
Absolutely wonderful.
Brilliant.
Wonderful.
Lovely. Sobbing away like a baby I am.